Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Football Tailgaters. And in this podcast, we're going to be talking about your picks for bets and fantasy. As for the other one, we were talking about what happened in this past week, which was a lot. But anyways, going to introduce myself, Aaron, the Cowboys fan. I have here with me Yams, the Jets fan, and Andy, the unbiased football fan. And we're going to go over the Cowboys game that happened this past Monday against the Giants. Oh, boy. That's going to be pretty good for me. I'm feeling pretty good about the team with Cooper Rush under the helm. We're also going to go over some waiver wires. And lastly, we're going to talk about our locks for the bets this coming week for week 4. That's going to be fun as well. We got some exciting games coming up for that. I think the most one that I'm excited for personally would be the Jaguars-Eagles. But we'll talk about that later. Right now, let's unpack the Cowboys game. Yams, I know you're kind of sick of the Cowboys being in prime time against, their own division against the Giants Monday night. It was a low-scoring game. I kind of figured that was the case because, it's the same division game. Of course, it's going to be something along those lines. Those games for pretty much every team is always tough. But I think the Cowboys showed some really, really good stuff in the offense. But as usual, I think the defense here is what's going to carry them. And Cooper Rush is just there, just doing his job. And he's not trying to do too much. He's just there. He's there to play. He does his thing, and that's it, He's not perfect, obviously. He makes his mistakes because he's not showing right now that he's an insanely great quarterback. But that's what they need right now is just someone who just does his job, and that's it. And the defense does the rest, right? With Parsons and Diggs making those crazy good plays, Parsons providing that immense amount of pressure, and DeMarcus Lawrence absolutely destroying the rookie Evan Neal, just made him look so average. At least that's what I thought. And the bright spot, for Tony Pollard keeps showing, and I think that they should keep looking to see what they can produce with him and kind of leave Ezekiel Elliott to doing most of the dirty work and kind of bump him into the number 2 spot in running back, kind of not officially right, but kind of hinting at it. Like, I think Tony Pollard should get most of the work, and when it comes to Elliott, he gets all the dirty work done. Like I said, those short plays that need to be just run down the middle, because he's not a bad running back, but he's just not who he was back then. What do you guys think?
Well, a couple of things you said. Did you say that Cooper Rush did a good job, or some of the mistakes that he did?
Yeah, no, he did his job too. He wasn't great. He wasn't outstanding. I thought he just went in there and did his thing. Obviously mistakes were happening there, but it wasn't crushing.
Not because of him. He did good.
No.
He did good. He did outstanding. I would say he did outstanding for a backup quarterback. I think he did really good. And Lamb, who didn't help, drop those. Was it one or two that he dropped?
I think he dropped like two.
Two of them. Lamb that didn't catch.
Yeah.
One that seemed to be a walk-in touchdown for the Cowboys. And you're the number 1 receiver. You're wearing number 88. You're supposed to be the one to catch those, especially that touch your hands. He hurt his quarterback there. Now, Lawrence, he reached his sack highest on the season over a rookie, Evan Neal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that doesn't say much about it. He's a rookie.
But he's
he was a top prospect.
No,
well,
it doesn't matter.
I think it does matter.
What about Smith on the other side?
Yeah, what about
Smith did great
against Thibodeau.
Yeah,
and they're both rookies.
They're rookies. I don't care if you're a rookie. If you're in the NFL and you've been in here for years, they're giving you hype that you are the best. It says that the other team is a rookie.
No, well, that also says a lot. Okay, what about Micah Parsons when he goes against big-time offensive linemen at the right tackle? I mean, I know this is second year, but last year he was dominating all these
Micah
spots.
Parsons is someone else, but I'm saying Lawrence reached his 3 sacks, I think. And that was his career high that year or this year?
Oh, so you're saying that DeMarcus Lawrence is underwhelmed?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
I think the bigger question was Evan Neal rather than Lawrence. It was more of like, can Evan Neal stop Lawrence? Can he show that he's worth the first round?
Not to me.
Because
not to me.
Neal's a rookie. He's not on an expensive contract like Lawrence is.
For me, I know the Cowboys have given DeMarcus Lawrence a ton of money. The first contract was $100 million, and the second, close to it, I believe. And he hasn't produced as many sacks as the Cowboy fans would want him to produce. So on Monday Night Football against the Giants, he did produce, which makes a lot of Cowboys fans happy. But I think I'm with Yams here that he should be playing a lot better throughout the whole season and show his contract worth.
And what about the whole game? Did you not see that entire defensive line just kind of dominating? What about that?
Oh,
he was doing his part.
Oh, of course, yeah.
No,
he's not a Joey Bosa. Yeah, he got paid. So did Elliott, and look at that. Elliott's not a top tier running back.
Well, that's when we start questioning the general manager's decisions. But hey,
exactly. But we shouldn't put the expectations. Yeah, he got paid, but we know they don't really fully deserve that money completely because of the performance they've done recent times, right? We're
right.
basing them off the performance, only separating the money. Like, they both did their jobs. That was it. That was kind of my point.
No, understood. I give most of the credit to Dan Quinn. If it wasn't for Dan Quinn and the Cowboys, they wouldn't be in there. He's putting all these defensive linemen and the secondary in the best position for them to be successful. And I do believe that the Dallas Cowboys have the top 2, maybe top 3 defensive line of the whole league. And you can even debate that it can be the number 1 defensive line of the league.
Yeah.
I think so too.
But overall, the team did play complementary football, in my opinion, with the Cowboys, minus those drops that your number 1 receiver should catch.
Yeah, those were killer drops.
The running game was strong, and I like the running game. I think the Cowboys should try to make that work in the future games, and don't shy away from your 2 running backs. And for the Giants, I also didn't think they looked that bad. They're still one of the lower teams in the division. However, I do see the improvements from last year. I know Galladay is, I don't know if you guys saw, but there is a report out there that the Giants might be looking to trade away Galladay if he continues or his situation there doesn't improve, because I don't know, this is his first time having those major drops he could have had in the fourth quarter. I don't know the previous 2 other games how they looked, because I didn't see the Giants full game, but I guess he's having an issue with those drops, so they're looking to trade if it doesn't improve.
Yeah, no, in the last 2 games, Giants, Panthers, Titans, Panthers 19-16, Giants won that one, Titans 2020 or 21-20, they won that one. So they're no biters, barely won that against teams that are having their own kind of problems, right? And then they were doing pretty good in the first half against the Cowboys. Saquon Barkley was doing his job, right? He was doing great, as well as Daniel Jones while he was running. But that O-line, man, they got issues. They got real issues.
Yeah. And I don't know. I wish I had like tape. I could just watch this and I have more time. But obviously Daniel Jones is just running because I'm sure there's someone open. But he just runs because he doesn't know how to be a quarterback and find that open man. So the easy thing to do is just run the blitz. Oh, let me get out of this hole. That's not a good quarterback. You can't win games like that. And that's one of the reasons why they're going to move on from Daniel Jones next year.
And I think from here on out, I think it's downhill for the Giants. I think they're going to struggle against the Bears. They lost Shepard with a torn ACL. Big time loss. With already a wide receiver core that's pretty much non-existent. Then they got the Packers coming up, Ravens, Jaguars. It's just, that 2-0 was nice while it lasted. I'll just say that. And I think this was a wake-up call for them because they were receiving a little bit of hype. I was seeing that. Some people were saying that the Giants were pretty good, but I think it's just all downhill from here. And they got to look into the draft again, draft early, and figure their O-line and get a star wide receiver or something. You got to fix it. It's awful for them. I feel bad for them.
Yeah, I'm looking at their wide receivers, and their starters is Richie James. I don't know him. Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't know him. David Sills, which that was the last pass that Trayvon Diggs intercepted that was going to him. And they have Kadarius Toney, which he has been injured. Kenny Galladay, which you guys have been saying that he has been kind of non-existent, and they're looking to trade him. And then they have Darius Slayton as well. So yeah, they need to make some changes. But I do believe that they do have a good coach so far. That what I've seen, they were 2-0. But this season is a little nuts. Like
so far,
because the Giants were 2-0, and there's just teams that we thought like, oh, they're really good, like Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs, and they've been not doing so great. Even Baltimore has had his struggles as well. So you can say for the Cowboys, like, yeah, they're doing pretty well. Luckily they played the division with the Giants, which they have been dominating for the last, I don't know how many years, like 6 years or something. And they're going to go to Washington next, and Washington has been having their struggles, so they should win that one with Cooper Rush. But after that, they're going to play the Rams and then the Eagles, and those are bigger tests. So Cooper Rush is doing a phenomenal job as the backup. Nobody thought that he was going to pull so many wins off, which has only been 2. But I mean, Washington, we're thinking that's going to be a win too. I can't say if it's going to be a definite, but they're on the right path, or on the right track this season. But it's all up to Dak Prescott when he comes back. If Kellen Moore puts him in the same positions as he has been putting Cooper Rush, to instead of putting the game into Dak Prescott's like shoulders for him to figure things out and just to have a game plan like they've been doing, that's been working great. Even the running game has been doing really great, which all Cowboys fans has been screaming for it to work, and it has been working.
Yeah. Well,
also,
sorry, one thing. So I we live in Texas, so naturally there's gonna be a lot of Cowboy fans. So I see some people from work, and they love Cooper Rush. Like, man, this guy can do it. Why can't he just replace Dak? And
their level of fans, and their level of not knowing what you're talking about.
And in my head, I was like, well, hey, do you guys know that Cooper Rush is older than Dak, right?
I think by 1 year. Now.
Yeah. No, I think he's 30. Mm-hmm. Well, whatever. And they're like, oh, yeah, is he? Okay. And the running game, man, Zeke's been getting on my
28.
nerves. Dak?
He's 28. No, Rush.
Isn't Dak 29?
Yeah, Dak is 29.
Oh, wow. I had it the other way around. Okay. So, there we go. I guess they do.
Uh-oh.
So, they were like, man, Zeke needs to move on, too. I don't know. I thought the running game was good. I thought both Tony Pollard and Zeke were really good. So,
yeah, it was working. And it has to do with the offensive line. Peters came in
as left guard.
Yeah, as a left guard. And I think that helped a lot. He has a lot of experience. Jason Peters. So
those toss passes, the outside runs were fantastic with Pollard.
Yeah,
that's what it is, because you get that momentum and you get those fast big linemen up the field, just pushing guys around. That's what it should be, and they've done it in the past with Elliott.
Did you
and
see
they
Tyler
shied away
Smith
from it?
Like running or like head on to
he runs
protect?
fast.
Yeah. It reminded me of Doug Free back in the day, how he went all the way to like block like defenders up. Yeah, so for the running backs to score. Yeah, I mean, they played pretty well.
Running
Even
game,
Pollard going to the middle, he did really, really well as well. It is working, and it looks like the offensive line is working. So, like you're saying,
well, I think they got this pretty under control against the Commanders, and here I am jinxing them as we speak.
I wouldn't say so. Yeah. They did come off. The Commanders came off a pretty ugly loss, so I think they are going to be studying really hard against the Cowboys. I wouldn't say it's a shoe-in. No, not at all.
It could also be a momentum thing where the Cowboys come in excited,
exactly,
because it's 2 games straight, and the Commanders come off a very disappointing loss. So it could go either way, and it's going to be an exciting game here. But we'll talk about the bets for that later. What about your guys' waiver wire pickups? I think I got mine pretty set, mainly for the running backs. I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty set too for me. I have, well, we all know that David Montgomery went down for the Chicago Bears. Their running back position is the only position I would have on my roster. Don't have anybody else. If you have commit, take him off. He's just remove. If you have Darnell Mooney, remove him. That team is still trying to figure it out. Let's see. Give him another 2 or 3 weeks. Let's see if the ball gets to, if Fields is able to get to their players. So, Khalil Herbert, not available in our league, but he is available. He's rostered 25% according to ESPN. So, if he is available for you, I would get Khalil Herbert, depending on what you need on your roster. Romeo Doubs, he is rostered 16% on ESPN, so he's also a good pickup for a wide receiver. But again, he's not available in our league. So our league does research many, many weeks in advance.
No, it's a 12
and it's a 12-man league. So if you're not in a 12-man league, these two might be still available.
So I think for Khalil Herbert, he did have a great fantasy week. He put up a lot of points, if I'm not wrong.
Last year, too.
Yeah.
Last year, too. So he's a great pickup as well. But let's say if he's taken, right, you got either Jamal Williams and Madison, which both are under 40%. And I think either those with, what's his name, DeAndre Swift, dealing with injuries. He had that shoulder sprain, so he might miss like about 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
And Madison, or sorry, not Madison. Dalvin Cook dislocated his shoulder, which holy crap, that's so random. I have both of them, but on separate leagues. I actually have Dalvin Cook. This is why why I kind of emphasize. I don't know if I ever mentioned it, but I had it in my mind, and it's a good strategy to handcuff your running back. So whenever you pick up someone, especially someone like Dalvin Cook, and any other running back that's pretty injury prone, like McCaffrey and stuff like that, but they got a good backup, it's good to get their backups right in their draft. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did with Dalvin Cook. I got Alexander Madison, and look at that. He might be out, but Alexander Madison is a great running back. There was even rumors he might get traded away, and he might have high potential in being running back number 1 in that team, right? Wherever he lands. But he's great to pick up if he's available obviously in the waiver wires. Pick him up. I think I would put him number 1 in priorities, and then I would put Khalil Herbert and then Jamal Williams, because Jamal Williams is around, I think pretty tough to pick up, especially in the 12-man leagues. I think even same for Alexander Madison, but if they're available, get them. I think Khalil Herbert is a little bit more available than them, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I believe so. So I'm with you guys. So in my waiver wire, I have Khalil Herbert, 25% of the leagues available. He did really good last year, so this year he should be continuing to do well as whenever he's on the playing. Jamal Williams, I have him here like around 40% that he's available, since Swift's going to be out for 2 weeks. Alexander Madison, also a great one, but I don't know about Cook because they're looking for him to actually be playing this Sunday, so I'm not too sure, but that's around 37%. Yeah. The other one that I have is George Pickens. I'm sure everybody saw that Thursday night highlight because it was the catch of the whole week of George Pickens in Pickett. Pickens. Yeah. George Pickens. I'm sorry.
Not Pickett.
Not Pickens. I'm gonna get confused so much with that. So George Pickens caught a fantastic ball. It looked like OBJ too, and he is gonna be probably the next starting wide receiver like throughout the league, throughout the season for the Steelers. So it's just going to get more and more passes to him. So just pick him up, stash him. You don't have to start him, and it'll work out.
So actually, I want to, just in case, because this is, I think, even bigger than Pickens, Romeo Doubs had his breakout game with the Packers.
Yeah.
He was pretty hyped up as maybe like a late round gem. He's rostered in 16% in ESPN. He put up 21 points this past game, and in the other games he was first week he put almost 9 points, and then the second week he put almost 5 points. So he finally had that breakout game where he saw 8 targets. In the first week he saw 5 targets, and the second week he saw 3 targets. So if we see Rodgers forming a connection with Romeo, we could see him possibly stepping up in that number 2 wide receiver if he continues to be, this good, right? And he can be next to Alan Lazard. and he could be someone that can be better than Alan Lazard. Possibly, I think he has a high ceiling. He showed that.
Yeah,
he did this past week. So
we'll see
I
if
think
you
he's
start
another
him.
gem. I can't say, but I don't know. It's really tempting. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, don't you guys get that feeling like, oh, this player's going to be good, but I can't start him over the starters right now, but he might break through. So it just makes you that nervous because that's just one player can screw up your fantasy game.
There's one player, and look, this league has turned out to be a beast at the wide receiver position. So they're scoring a lot of points. It's I guess, a crazy offense so far, right? One that stood out to me, and he's on your team, and it depends. And if Cooper Rush keeps going, I think Noah Brown might be a good pickup with this connection that Cooper Rush has with him. So in deeper leagues, of course.
I thought that, but the thing is that Dak Prescott's going to be back and also Gallup.
Oh, they were talking about like even considering that he's going to be back by next week, which is absolutely mind-boggling.
It's not going to happen. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
But the fact that they're even throwing that out there, it's just like, why are you doing that? Why is that even like they're just trying to hype it up? I don't know if this is like some kind of form to kind of put Commanders on their feet to like maybe set their game plan around Rush,
or maybe a media talk just to talk and
the stitches came off, so I don't know what that means. So maybe it's healed.
The stitches came off.
Yeah.
Right?
But you know what? Hey, that's actually another one that you mentioned here. I think a lot of panic managers who had Dak Prescott as their quarterback probably dropped him. I would just scan your league and see if Dak Prescott's available. If he's available, I would pick him up as the quarterback.
Well, in that case, then just go get Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is a great pickup then as a quarterback. He's actually getting momentum every single game.
If Trevor Lawrence is available, then go ahead and pick him. You know, some people have the 2 quarterback leagues, deeper leagues. So, you have your options. There's also Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, that too.
Wentz too. I mean, he didn't have a good game this past week, but I think in the long term, he did have a good.
Like I mentioned in my other podcast, is if you like a roller coaster ride, get Carson Wentz.
He has his up weeks and his down weeks.
Yeah, he has his really high up there weeks, and he has his really down.
But it's kind of like I'm not kind of close to like Kirk Cousins, that in the sense of they're not doing anything in like the first half or even close to the end of the third quarter, and then all of a sudden like touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. It's like, what's up with that? Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at the league and I'm seeing a whole bunch of wide receivers just going off on the board, just scoring and scoring. So, and then you see, like myself, I got ETN and ETN, and then you just continue seeing the red zone. It's Robinson, and now I have DeAndre Swift. He was injured, so yeah.
Well, this fantasy year has been very unique compared to others because mostly all like the top 10 players picked in the first round of the fantasy leagues aren't doing that great. Right. We have Henry struggling, we have Cook struggling, McCaffrey, Eckler, Chase, Jefferson. Am I missing any of those? Are like the top 5, 6. Cooper Kupp is doing pretty well.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp is doing very well. But yeah, there a lot of these top players in fantasy are just not doing so well. So
now,
what's
Lamb
crazy
doing
okay?
to me? I don't know.
He's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what's crazy to me though is that in our league, James Robinson got picked up in the 9th round, which I almost got him because he was on my list. And he was gonna be like on my 3rd or 4th one or some crazy thing like that. But 9th round he got picked up, and he's number 3 right now.
Well, it's because there was a lot of hype with ETN, first of all, and then second of all, he was coming from a freak injury, and then all of a sudden, like a few days before the start of the season, he's like, "No, we're ready to go." He's like all of 100% perfect to go, and everybody was like, "Well, they have to continue. They have to like." Use ETN, right? I mean, he's like the star from the college and stuff. Nope, it looks like it's Robinson. He's the one that's been producing.
Same thing with the Denver. Denver has Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon scored.
Yeah, this last game, Melvin Gordon did better.
The third scored. So I'm like, okay, what's up with these coaches not using their younger running backs that you're supposed to be
Damian Pierce too. That's someone who's a good example of how they're actually using him right because of what happened last week, where even Lovie Smith was like, "Yeah, I totally misused Damian Pierce." And look at this week, he showed out. He was. I was watching that game. He's a great running back, and I think he should definitely be above Rex Burkhead. And
sure.
to have him in your flex is amazing. To say the
Pierce,
least.
somebody got Pierce in our 3rd round. I had him in my list, but I was gonna pick him in the 5th or 6th round. He got
I thought he was gonna go later.
Yeah,
but
to my surprise, he got picked up really early. Which
he got his breakout game: 20 carries for 80 yards and a touchdown. He got 2 receptions for 21. He was balling out. He got 18 points, and that's only his first game where he actually saw something above 18 carries. So that's something to watch right there. I'm just trying to see what else. I don't think I see any other players are kind of... It was just mainly running backs. Because right now, wide receivers, I feel like they're such a gamble that I don't know. It's just such a risk. So with these injuries going on with the running backs, it's great to focus on that this week, of course. But lastly, let's go on to our weekly bets here. Week 4. What are your guys' locks here for betting? Obviously, we like to say we don't condone all this gambling stuff. We don't trust us. We're not your professional advisors. We're just some fans.
Non-financial advice, exactly.
So I'm not gonna go first here because I'm interested to see what you guys have.
Do you want to go first, Hams, or me? I only have one. I'm very conservative.
And how did that turn out last week?
How that? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm 1-1.
I'm 0 and what week are we in?
That was a 3rd.
Oh, you guys are keeping track?
No,
I'm not keeping track.
Well, it's easy so far for me. 0 and 3.
Well, it's because we didn't do the bets for the first week.
True.
And we started doing it for the 2nd and 3rd. So
0 and 2 for me.
You're 0 and 2. But didn't you you should be more than 0 and 2. You can't.
Why?
Because you selected more games. I only selected 1. And again, that's because I'm a conservative gambler.
All right.
I need to start writing mine down.
Well, I'm just taking it as if I want to take it or not. No?
If you want to take it or not.
Okay. Well, I'll go first. I would choose the Packers money line against the Patriots. And okay, this is really hard, guys. So there's a Houston game, and I kind of like the under on the first half for the Houston against there it is, Chargers. And the first half under it's 22. I also like Carolina and Arizona under on Boba that it's giving me 4.2 or 42.5. I would buy points on that. I think these two teams are the worst offense in the NFL. They don't score a lot of points. And I think they keep it under. But if you can buy points on that one, I would definitely do it. So I feel like the Packers money line wins against the Pats. And I also like the Carolina Arizona under 42.5. But I would buy an extra point.
Interesting. No, I only have one lock, and it would be Green Bay versus the Patriots money line. That would be my for sure pick. And Mac Jones is going to be out. They're going to be playing probably Hoyer. And Green Bay, I mean, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be figuring out against Bill Belichick. So that would be my lock, Green Bay.
Golly, this is tough. That's the only one that really sticks out to me. But I want to add another one because there's some games where I think personally are going to go one way, but yet they're saying the other. So I would stick the same as well. I think the obvious lock here is with the Patriots and Packers. I would take the money line for the Packers. And then I would actually go here with the Rams against San Francisco. And I would, for the Rams in San Francisco, I think I would actually take the spread for the Rams. Because I think, what is it, 2.5? Yeah, it's 2.5. And then I would like to do one more where I think for the Cowboys and Commanders, it's another close game where it's probably going to be low scoring, and I would actually take the under in that game. The over under is 41.5.
I probably would buy a point or two, because you never know when the Dallas just starts to score, and I think that's the team that worries me is Dallas starting to score up the scoreboard, and it ends up being over
Yeah, but they have it low for that reason.
as a trap.
If it was 39, I would definitely be kind of. It'd be obviously a lot more risky, but I think 41.5 is a sweet spot to take the under. If it was anything lower than, like I said, 39, then I wouldn't take it. So I think I would take the under for the Cowboys and Commanders, and then I would take the spread for the Rams for 49ers, obviously the Rams, and then the Packers money line over the Patriots. Those would be mine. So that's 3.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, that's risky.
I don't know the Rams one. You know which one might be less riskier, and maybe Giants against the Bears. I think Giants might be able to come up with a win here.
No,
I think you guys are nuts. And I think you guys don't know what you guys are talking about.
But hey, you know
What?
you know what this and it is.
Did we not just see what happened against the Giants? Cowboys were even struggling in scoring points against the Giants. What makes you think they're gonna ball out against the Commanders? It's not gonna be a high-scoring game, especially when it's a divisional game.
What was the score
That's
at
just
the
how
end? I can't
division-
remember.
It was 37
Total?
or 37. No, I'm crazy. Let me see here.
He's crazy. Yeah.
It was 39, but I put 37 because I thought it was gonna be 37, but it was 39, and I think
you
it'll
were
be
close.
about
Okay.
the same. Yeah, it'll be about the same, if not maybe lower, but I think it's gonna be around the late 30s. That's why I said 41.5 is a sweet spot. I don't think
Uh-huh.
they're going over
Yeah, but
42.
here's my thing that I think that it just might go over. It's because I think that Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. And again, it's that roller coaster you get with Carson Wentz. He can score.
Yeah,
He can score.
no,
and
I
if-
agree.
And
Mhm.
if he scores and he scores 2 or
Well, they need to have a balanced play plan. The Washington Commanders, they need to run the ball well and throw the ball well in order to beat this Cowboys defense. Because
So
they had Saquon Barkley and he was doing a pretty good job. But then at some point, like, where was Saquon Barkley? There were some periods that like they needed him and it wasn't showing up, even though he did a really good job.
wait, because when the Eagles were facing off against the Commanders, right? It's a divisional game, and that game ended up being a 24-8, which is I think like what 32 points.
the Eagles against the Commanders.
And the Eagles are a way better team than the Commanders.
Correct.
And it was even a struggle for them, right, to get more points. And it could have been more points, but they were struggling because the Commanders' defense isn't terrible. And also Carson Wentz was having an off game, which we could also argue that might have been part of the issue here. And it's something that they could maybe continue to struggle when it's another divisional game in a row. Because you're going against teams that are tough, that you're going up twice a year in a row, right? So you're going against the Eagles and then the Cowboys. It's going to be tough for them.
It is going to be a
And
tough.
obviously for
It
the
is going to be
Cowboys.
tough. And is the Eagles' defense better than the Cowboys? Does anyone know? Like ranking wise?
I don't know the ranks, honestly, but I would assume so by the looks of it.
Yeah, here it is.
But
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I
They
don't know.
are actually, the Eagles are 5th according to ESPN overall in total defense. And the Cowboys are about 4 teams down. So I don't know. They did face a 5 top defense if you want to put it that way. And not saying that Dallas is not they're good. They're a really good defense. I just don't know how the under will take in play. Just because after coming a brutal loss, I don't know. It scares me to choose the under.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
well, we'll see about that. I'm actually kind of excited because I have a good feeling about this one. It's a divisional game. It's going to be tough. It's teams that are just having issues within their own team.
Don't
if
fall
that makes
into
sense.
that type of feeling that once your team wins and you have that feeling like, oh, they played really well this Sunday, they have it. That's one of like the
No.
traps as a fan.
That's why I'm not picking the Cowboys to win. I'm going with the over-under. And I think for this one, it's going to be a pretty tight game. But I'm pretty shaky on picking either or. Because it could go either way. But I don't think it's going over 41, 42 points. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
We've
I would.
We've
stay
been
away
having a
from
lot
it.
of games recently. This past week, we had a lot of games that were going under.
But
right?
but
But my problem is the Cowboys scoring up the board against Commanders.
Don't you
'Cause
think Cooper Rush has been having better connections with its wide receivers? Like you can see it like week after week, and as the weeks progress,
solidifying the start.
It's better for them to have those connections, and they'll be able to find Noah Brown and CeeDee Lamb and this running game like it's working, and they're figuring out things. So it's just gonna it might get better and better every week, especially with a team like the Commanders.
Yeah, it might, but also they haven't scored a game over 20, so that's why I'm pretty confident in it. And this might be the game where they do, but they can still score over 20 and be under 41. So they're not a top scoring offense.
Right.
They scored 23 against the Giants. They scored 20 against the Bengals, and then they scored only 3 against the Buccaneers. That's why it just seems like way too many points. That's why they're putting it so low. And there's even a game that's even lower than 41. If I can find it real quick. There's one where the over-under is 39, and I think it's against... Oh, where's it at? I just saw it.
And the Washington Commanders are 6th to last.
Of what?
On defense.
What?
That's what I'm saying. I'm scared if the Cowboys start to score up the board.
Bears-Giants is over-under 39. That makes me nervous. That's even lower.
No, because they both can't score.
Yeah, so can't the Cowboys. They have low scoring games, is what I'm saying, of like less than 21 points. And same thing with the Commanders. The Commanders have been struggling. So that's why they're setting it the bar kind of low, but not too low, because like the Cowboys do have potential to have that kind of game to where they score more than 3 touchdowns, right? But it's a shaky team. We were literally saying we're pretty nervous on picking who's going to win. So that's why I'm going with that, because it's going to be a close game either way. So, but those are mine. I think that's all I have for the bets.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident in mine. I can see why you guys are nervous, obviously. Being a lot more conservative can be kind of boring for me sometimes. But also, like, it's not like I'm putting, like, tons of money into this. It's just something that I think I feel pretty confident in. Where if I put, like, $20 into it, I think I'd be fine with it, right? $30, $40, whatever. I don't think I'd go past, like, 100, because it's just, like, I don't take it that seriously, right?
Wussy.
But also, like, aside from like the betting,
you let me just say that.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm excited to see. I need to write this down because I'm gonna forget about it to see if I'm right, and then I'm kind of gauging on like what my logic is and to see if it's working or not.
Let me ask you guys a question. Who do you guys have in this upcoming Thursday night football? Miami against Cincinnati.
Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah, why not?
Did you write a contract that you can't say something?
No, I don't know. I mean, we're making our picks now.
What do you mean?
It up.
Oh, it's because we're in that pick'em thing.
Oh.
It does. I don't. Come on, I don't care.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, if you guys, I can start it off as it really depends for me.
I need to pull it up.
It really depends for me if Tua is like 100% ready to go. I'm gonna look into see if the reports saying that if he has been practicing, because it's a really short week, and if he has back issues with a quarterback, everything that you do with your back, like moving around, throwing it, you're gonna feel it, and it's the most important position. So right now I'm picking Cincinnati. But if he's 100% and there's no setbacks, then I would pick Miami. But as of now, I'm picking Cincinnati because they are getting their act together and they're playing pretty well.
So Tua would have been limited participant if the team practiced on Tuesday and is considered questionable for Thursday's matchup against the Bengals. That was a report made 7 hours ago.
Right. So we'll see tomorrow because they're going to practice tomorrow, Wednesday.
So if Tua plays, do you think they're winning?
If they report is that he's 100% ready to go, I think they'll figure it out to win.
No, it's interesting because they're saying it's ankle back. That's the injury report.
Man, what an injury, right?
What does Vegas know that they're giving Bengals -4?
So I don't know if it's because Tua is injured. So maybe they're taking that into account. Yeah, because I wouldn't feel comfortable saying the Miami Dolphins without Tua's gonna win.
No, you don't have. They have a decent backup.
They have a decent backup, but again, if through psychology, through everybody's head, a backup is still a backup. So you're thinking that the other team with their starter is gonna win.
Maybe that's the trap.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be a trap. We have
That's
to look.
That's been the thing with the Cowboys.
It's the thing with the Cowboys that they haven't been favorites because of this, and they're continuing. Are they favorites on this one? Right, this is the first game.
No, I don't think
yes,
so.
They
are they?
Against,
they are
against the
2 points. How much? It can't be that much.
Against the Commanders,
it shouldn't be that much.
Yeah.
Here are they? Where are they? Here they are. They're
3.
taking 3.
3-point favorite.
So it's the first time, and it's because look how they've been playing, and it's that defense for the Dallas. So it really depends if Tua plays.
I think it does too, and if Tua plays, they have a good chance to win, but it's going to be a close one. For the injury report that the Bengals have, so they have Eli Apple questionable, Lyle Collins questionable, Hayden Hurst, the tight end, Jermaine Pratt, I don't know, a linebacker, and then DJ Reader. He's out.
Well, they still have Higgins. They still have Jamar Chase. They still have Mixon.
All the important
All the important ones of like Burrow. He's still Burrow. He's still good. Even though he's gotten a lot of hits. They should also figure it out. But with Tua, even though like he's still kind of injured, like he still might pull it off. You know how NFL is. They're probably gonna inject him with some type of super serum so he doesn't feel anything and he can throw it normally.
I think so. I have the Bengals on this one, and I think what they needed this past game of what they got against the Jets is like a small boost in confidence and maybe like finally getting into a rhythm. And especially if Tua doesn't play, this is just perfect setup for the Bengals to win.
Yeah, but
they're gonna struggle if Tua plays for sure. But he has to be 100%, like you said, right?
Right.
And I don't think I would force. I mean, would you force Tua if he's not 100%? Would you force him to play?
I wouldn't force any player if he's not 100%.
No, sometimes there are situations that you got.
I'd be in a playoff game.
And what's his name? Justin Herbert.
In a playoff.
Yeah, I
game.
wouldn't.
Justin Herbert got
I
a painkiller injection. I think we talked about this past podcast where he got a painkiller shot because he had a rib cartilage injury.
But it's because it's really hard with those
mind-boggling.
No, I get you, but with those rib injuries, it's really hard to tell because it depends on the player itself. Because I've seen other players that are quarterbacks that you see reports later on. I was like, yeah, he had a broken ribs or a lung puncture. I believe Drew Brees was the last one that I believe like when 2 seasons ago that happened to him, and he just played the following game and continued winning. It really depends on the player. If they say they're ready to go, then you got to trust them, I guess. But once you're seeing as the coach that he's struggling outside, then okay, then that's your job to pull him out and put the backup in.
So do you think he should have been benched after that really underwhelming performance this past game?
If once I was seeing that he is struggling, and you can see that his throws are not as good as they are. But even so, even though he was playing hurt, he was still doing pretty good throws. So it's a really hard thing. But I probably would have pulled him, yeah.
And he was getting hit too. There were some hits where like I was even like cringing because
and you can see his
face.
Went
right towards the ribs.
Yeah. Poor thing.
No.
And to the pick that you guys have, I think I haven't put too much thought, but I'm leaning more towards Miami Dolphins.
Even if Tua doesn't
play. I think whatever happened with the Bengals, it's against the Jets. Let's just remind everybody, it's against the Jets. Call it if you want to get right game for the Bengals. I don't think anything wow factor happened with the Bengals, and from what I saw, the Jets were in the game.
They were struggling in the first half.
And
the Bengals were struggling.
Right, and even into the third quarter, that's kind of when they took off with a lead. So I don't have too much faith in the Bengals yet. They're still, in my opinion, still figuring it out. I maybe shouldn't have told you my pick.
What about the game? I'm really excited about this one.
Jaguars, Eagles?
Yes, the Jaguars and Eagles.
This would be their first test.
I'm super excited to see this one. And there's just so many good games at the earliest games, but this one is just one that I really want to watch. Who do you guys have for this game?
Eagles
as well.
I also have the Eagles, and it's just because they've been dominating all the games that they've been playing. They've been destroying the team, so it's more of Jacksonville to prove it that they're actually legit. And it's actually Coach Peterson going against the Eagles at Philadelphia. That's exciting.
Now, the Eagles struggled against Detroit, so I wouldn't consider that destroying 38-35. What's interesting to me is the Jacksonville side. 28-22 against Commanders, and then they shut out the Colts 24-0, and then they kept the Chargers at 10 points, 38-10. Now, if anything, I think the Jaguars showed a better, at least just by looking at the scoreboard, right? And the expectations as well has to do with it, because they were pretty, they were expected to be a not so good team, pretty down there, not any type of competitive team. And they've completely exceeded that expectation. And a shutout against what was thought to be a playoff contender team, and as well as a low-scoring playoff contender team. Yes, Herbert was injured, but still. And then they struggled the first game. It just seems like there was just something to figure out there, which wasn't a shutout 20-22. I wouldn't count the Jaguars out completely, but, it's just, ooh, man, I don't know. That's why it's so exciting, I guess.
Yeah, who would you pick then? Oh, you said Eagles, right?
I said Eagles, yeah. But I wouldn't count it out as like, Eagles are winning 100%.
Okay. Next game, the Jets and Steelers. Who do you guys have?
The Jets.
So the majority of people are saying Steelers, and then the Steelers open as a 3.5 favorites. I think that the Jets could win it, but Joe Flacco, I think, is the guy that makes me the most nervous out of everybody.
Oh, but remember, sir, Zach Wilson is actually back.
Yes, sir.
Oh, is he? I thought he was still questionable.
No. He's playing.
Oh, like for sure, it's confirmed.
Is he still questionable? Yes, but he's playing.
He's gonna.
He's
play.
expected.
Yeah, he's expected to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one.
It's Zach Wilson's
that.
for the Steelers and Jets game. It's Zach Wilson's first game back, so
Rusty.
he is going to be rusty. He's going to be struggling, especially because the defense of the Steelers is not bad at all, and it's going to be a shootout and it's going to be a defensive game.
Shootout? Yeah,
and a defensive game. Yeah, because the Jets defense, it's not horrible. They do have their weapons, and also the Steelers have their weapons too. And it's both offenses that are struggling, so it might be a very low scoring game. If I had to pick, I would pick the Jets, but only because of the playmakers that they currently have that are actually showing up, like Breece Hall and Wilson, and also on the defensive side as well. But it can go either way.
I don't have much to say. It's my team.
They have a good chance.
I choose the team.
Yeah, bias pick. What about you, Aaron?
If Zach Wilson plays, I think the Steelers win, but it won't be easy as well. That one's gonna.
Wait. You said if Zach Wilson plays, Steelers are gonna win?
No. Jets are gonna win. But if he doesn't play, I think Steelers.
We're all thinking the Jets. Interesting.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. If who doesn't play, the Jets win, and who doesn't play, the Steelers win.
If Joe Flacco plays.
Zach Wilson. Yeah, if Joe Flacco plays, Steelers win.
And I'm with Aaron.
It's just so frustrating watching him play, and God, man, it's just not good for the team. They need Zach Wilson, and even if he's not the most outstanding, he may not be the most outstanding quarterback, right? There's plenty of doubts. Andy has his doubts. Yams, you have your doubts. I think it's safe to say that a lot of people have their doubts. So, but I do think he is better than Joe Flacco for sure, because he has legs. Yeah. He moves. Yeah. It's that simple.
I agree.
They just need to be careful with him and take care of him.
How about this big time game, the Sunday Night Football, Chiefs and Buccaneers? Who do you guys have?
Depending on the wide receiver core for the Bucs, if at least only one is out, right? If Evans,
Evans is going to be back. He was just suspended one game, so he's back.
Since he's back, right? And aside from Evans, if what's his name, Chris Godwin is out, I think I would still count him in as them winning over the Chiefs after the Chiefs just struggled against the Colts. That might be something to keep an eye on. But that defense of the Buccaneers can hold out against a pretty underwhelming wide receiver core that the Chiefs have.
Yeah.
So I think I would pick the Buccaneers.
They both came off in my opinion, Kansas City came off more an ugly loss against the Colts than Tampa Bay, because they held in there until the very, very, very last second of Tampa Bay.
Yep.
So, and against Packers, who are slowly starting to get their engines going with that defense, and I think the defense is starting to blossom into something that they were building.
Right.
I might be with you on this one. It's probably Tampa for me, depending on the wide receivers that are available. So
No, I'm with you. In this game, Chiefs Buccaneers, I picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was gonna say Tom Brady Buccaneers.
Yeah, that's
Oh
what
my
people call them
gosh. I mean,
sometimes.
that's
So
pretty much it.
Tampa
Yeah.
Bay.
If Evans is back, that's what Tom Brady needed against Green Bay. I'm sure that he would have pulled off that win if Evans was playing. And that defense that Buccaneers have is pretty good, with Todd Bowles leading that defense. And the Chiefs, they are a really good team. I'm a big Mahomes fan, but I think they're just going to come up a little short against them.
They're 2-point favorites, the Chiefs.
They're 2-point favorites. Even with that, I think the Tom Brady's going to figure out a way to win this game. It's Tom Brady. Okay. One more. I'm thinking Broncos and Raiders. Raiders is the only team that's been 0-3, and the Broncos, well, you guys know that they've been struggling so far. I am going to say that Denver
But-
Broncos have, like Russell Wilson did, show his potential in the last series against the 49ers that they scored pretty quickly. We saw the old Russell Wilson. So if they use Russell Wilson as how he should be used, then I'm going to pick the Broncos.
Well, that's not an easy thing to say at all. And by the way, I think they're the ugliest 2-1 in the league right now.
Oh, for sure. And what I've been saying about Josh McDaniels as the head coach for the Raiders, he's the one that's going to be affecting this team, either in the positive side or in the negative side. But since I've already seen him before as a head coach for the Broncos, and he didn't do a good job at all, and then he went back to New England and just was phenomenal there as an offensive coordinator, but again, as a head coach, he might be the problem with the Raiders, because with all those weapons that they haven't been able to pull it off. Even they were saying that McDaniels was going to help Derek Carr be a better quarterback, and look how it's been happening. Derek Carr has not been playing well at all.
Yeah, I agree with that. They are opening as a 2.5 favorite. The Raiders are. I think I would agree with you on if Russell Wilson is, playing the way he's meant to be playing. They win this one, but aside from that, I think it's Raiders here. I think Raiders win this one. They get their first win.
Well, we're all in this pick-up thing, right? Are we going to reveal all our picks?
Well, that's what I was saying.
I was okay with
you guys are like, that doesn't matter.
How many have we revealed?
Well, it's because there are really important games that are coming up.
Okay, well, there's money on the
I'm
line
actually
here.
saying the complete opposite of what I'm actually picking, just to throw you guys off, right?
Remind me, who was Denver against who again?
Against the Raiders.
Thank you.
Raiders.
I want to say this is probably a... Oh man, is this so hard? The Raiders need this win. They really, 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 really need this win. So, based on team that is starting to get it together, I would choose Denver. But based on the desperation that the Raiders are in, I don't know. I kind of want to lean towards the Raiders. I'm still kind of torn in two.
Well, it's
with
because
this.
they have superstars in that team.
I want to lean towards the Raiders because they absolutely need this team because, like you said, they do have the superstars. Josh McDaniels is second time coaching. He cannot afford to go 0-4. He cannot. So I think the Raiders might have to, whatever it is, they're going to come out with this win. And I just don't see Denver, unless Russell starts running again, to make plays happen. But if he decides to stay put and be the quarterback that he wants to be then versus what he needs to be, I don't know if I'll be picking Denver this week.
Yeah, especially with the young roster that they have compared to the Raiders. The Raiders just have an overall better roster, but they're underperforming, and they shouldn't be. These close games that they've been losing, they lost against that overtime against Cardinals was so tough for them. That was such a tough loss where, what's his name, Kyler Murray was just running around. He looks so funny when he runs around. Then Tennessee, 2 points. They lost by 2 points. You just don't do that kind of stuff. And then they lost against the Chargers, 24-19. It's just those close games you're not supposed to be having because you have the capabilities of being better. But that coaching staff, it might be the issue here. And I think that's what a lot of people might be thinking right now. But it's about time they get their first win. So I think the Raiders get this one. Will that be all?
That'll be all for me, sir.
Yeah, nice. All right, yeah, that's going to be it for this episode then. Thank you guys to everyone, who's been listening to us in these pad podcasts. We appreciate it. As usual, we have our social medias, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's Football Tailgaters. Find us there. But, for now, we'll see you guys in the next week. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.